A deep, unsettling pause. Have you ever really known your neighbor, truly known them? You see them every day. They wave from across the street. They bring in their mail, just like you. Their kids might play with your kids. They attend the neighborhood block party. They bring a potato salad, a perfectly normal potato salad. They smile. They laugh. They seem so ordinary, so utterly, completely normal. But what if that normalcy, that friendly wave, that polite smile, is nothing more than a carefully constructed mask? What if behind that mask lies a darkness you cannot possibly imagine, a secret so terrible it would make your blood run cold? We all wear masks to some extent. We present a certain version of ourselves to the world. But for some, the mask is not just a social convenience. It is a tool, a weapon. It is a shield that conceals a monstrous reality. It allows them to walk among us undetected. They are the co-worker in the next cubicle, the friendly clerk at the grocery store, the devoted spouse sleeping beside you. They are hiding in plain sight, protected by the illusion of being just like everyone else. Think about the people you trust, the ones you let into your life, into your home. You trust them because they seem normal. There are no warning signs, no red flags, nothing to suggest that anything is amiss. They follow the rules, they fit the mold. Their lives appear to be an open book filled with the mundane details of work, family, and routine. But what if that book has a hidden chapter, a secret, locked away section written in a language of violence and deceit, a story that, if revealed, would shatter everything you thought you knew about them, and perhaps about the nature of evil itself. It's about the monsters who don't lurk in the shadows. They live next door. They are masters of deception. And when the curtain finally falls, the truth that emerges is more terrifying than any fiction, because it's real, and it can happen to anyone. It could happen to you. Maple Drive was the kind of street you see in movies, a postcard of suburban perfection. In the center of this idyllic scene, at number 12, lived Robert Bob Henderson. He was, by all accounts, the perfect neighbor. He was the first to lend you a tool. Bob had lived on Maple Drive for over a decade. He was a creature of habit. Every morning at 7:15 a.m. he would back his sensible sedan out of the driveway and head to his job as an accountant. Every evening at 5:30 p.m. he would return. He'd retrieve his mail, give a friendly wave to anyone outside, and disappear into his house. On weekends, he would engage in the sacred suburban ritual of yard work. The drone of his lawnmower was as reliable as the setting sun. No one knew much about Bob's personal life, but no one really asked. He was a single man living alone. The neighbors assumed he was a private person, perhaps a little shy. They respected that. He was the stable, silent anchor of Maple Drive. He was just Bob, the guy from number 12. This perception of normalcy was Bob's greatest asset, a shield forged from years of careful observation and meticulous performance. Every wave, every polite nod, every predictable action, threads in the tapestry of his disguise. He had built a fortress of banality around himself, a place where no one would think to look for darkness. Not everyone was completely convinced by Bob Henderson's performance. Across the street lived Elaine, a retired school teacher. and something about Bob Henderson just didn't sit right with her. She noticed the trash can ritual. She noticed the late-night basement light. She tried to voice her concerns once. Her neighbor simply laughed it off. "Oh, that's just Bob." One rainy Tuesday evening, Elaine saw something that turned her quiet suspicion into cold dread. For just a second, Elaine saw a flash of what looked like large, dark plastic sheeting. And for a second, she saw a coil of thick rope. Their eyes met. Bob's faint smile never reached his eyes. In that moment, Elaine knew. She didn't know what he was doing, but she knew it was something terrible. Now, let's leave the quiet street of Maple Drive and travel to another town, another home. Meet the Millers, Mark, Susan. They were the couple everyone looked up to. 2 bright children, a beautiful home, a golden retriever. From the outside, their life wasn't just good. It was perfect. Mark was a successful sales executive, charming, charismatic. Susan, a dedicated stay-at-home mom, the heart of the family. Mark's devotion to Susan was not just a casual display. It was an elaborate and consistent production. The laughter that echoed in the presence of guests would fade the moment the last car pulled away.
Who did you talk to today?
There were quiet arguments, always behind closed doors. They were about control. The first thread to unravel was a financial discrepancy. She found a bill from a fancy downtown restaurant, a charge for a dinner for 2 on a night Mark had said he was working late. Her quiet investigation began. What she found was a maze of deceit. The confrontation was not the explosive argument Susan had anticipated. It was eerily calm.
You shouldn't have done that, Susan, he said, his voice quiet and flat.
She told him she wanted a divorce. He began to plead, but then she looked into his eyes again, and behind the tears she saw the same cold, calculating emptiness. We trust professionals. We have to, and perhaps most of all, we trust the doctor. Dr. Alan Pierce was the embodiment of that trust, a man with healing hands and an impeccable reputation. In the high-stakes theater of the operating room, he was the calm at the center of the storm. His expertise was so renowned that his decisions in the operating room were rarely, if ever, questioned. He had the power to interpret events. He could explain away anomalies. Nurses and junior doctors who worked with him sometimes felt a flicker of unease, but who were they to question the great Dr. Pierce? There is a known phenomenon in the medical world. It's called a God complex. He would subtly alter dosages, pushing patients to the very brink of crisis, only to swoop in at the last possible second and save them. He became the hero of emergencies he himself had created. But sometimes his calculations were off. Dr. Pierce crossed it. The truth about Dr. Alan Pierce began not with a bang, but with a spreadsheet. And that's when the whisper became a shout. One name. Dr. Alan Pierce had been the anesthesiologist in every single case. Finally, her conscience won out over her fear. The investigation into the man with the healing hands had begun. She is the first domino teetering on the edge. Susan's flight to a lawyer, Sarah's spreadsheet. None of them know about the others. They are simply individuals who saw something wrong and refused to look away. One detective, a man named Harris, has a long memory. It's a geographic and temporal link. The first faint line drawn between 2 distant dots. Mark wasn't just cheating, he was stalking his wife. The committee sees this as murder, not malpractice. The investigation becomes a full-blown homicide inquiry. For Bob Henderson, the first sign that his invisible world is being breached comes in the form of a quiet visit. For Mark Miller, the pressure is more direct. The restraining order is a public humiliation. At Northwood General, the hospital is in a state of controlled panic. For all three men, in their separate worlds, the end is approaching. The carefully constructed masks are about to be ripped away. The day the truth came to Maple Drive was a crisp autumn morning. The façade shattered. The basement revealed a decade of hidden horrors, trophies, each item a silent testament. The quiet man from Maple Drive was a monster. For Susan Miller, the revelation did not come from a police raid, but across her own kitchen table. He confessed everything. He had researched ways to make a person disappear. He confessed that he had been slowly poisoning her coffee. The recording device on the table captured every word. The arrest warrant was issued. He simply nodded, as if he had been expecting them for a very long time. The trial laid bare the horrifying truth of his God complex. The healer's hands, which everyone had believed were a source of life, were revealed to be instruments of death. The aftermath is not a loud explosion. It is a long, chilling echo. Every happy photo on social media is now tainted with the horrifying knowledge of what lay beneath. The hospital is not just healing bodies. It is trying to heal a wound to its very soul. These stories serve as a chilling reminder. The most terrifying monsters are not the ones that look like monsters. They are the ones who look like us. Their evil was so shocking precisely because it wore the costume of virtue, a disguise so effective it made the truth seem impossible. We are left staring into the abyss, forced to confront the chilling reality that evil can be patient, it can be charming, and it can be living right next door.